In this video, I want to teach you how to create a Photoshop action that resizes an image for web-sized use, and then also create a little something called a droplet that will help you be able to use that particular resize action without necessarily even being inside of Photoshop at the time. In other words, you're going to kind of run the image through Photoshop and have it come out the other side in a folder. Now, this little exercise is it's small in steps, but it's big in impact. And the larger impact of it is that you're going to learn about automation tools in Photoshop. And honestly, if you're not using the automation tools in Photoshop, you should be. And this is a good introduction for that. In order to get everything set up that we want to get set up and record our action, we have to pick a sacrificial image. Now, don't worry, we're not going to kill this actual image. What we're going to do, however, is we are going to use it to record our action with. So I'm going to just grab one of these images here. We'll take this one and place it into Photoshop and open it up. Now, I'll show you if I open up the image size right now, this is 2048 pixels on the horizontal side. Now, one key aspect of creating automations in any software, whether it's Photoshop or email marketing or whatever you're doing as an automation, is that you have to pick things that are like objects that all can have the same action happen to them. In this particular case, what we're going to do is we're going to resize this image down to 800 pixels, which would make it more suitable to use as a supporting image on a website than the 2048. This is a pretty good sized file to load up onto a website. All of that said, we need to make sure that when we use this action again, that we're going to use it on images that are horizontal and that are JPEGs. Those are two very important caveats. If we use a PNG, it's going to get a little out of whack because PNGs are going to have a separate layer, and sometimes that causes problems in our resizing and saving process. So just know that you want to pick your steps for this accordingly, and if your automation fails, chances are it's going to fail because there's something that was different or incorrect in there, something that wasn't repeatable exactly the same way over all of the images that you are doing your action to. For example, if we were to run this particular action that we're going to create, which resizes an image down to 800 pixels on the width, then if we were to run that on a image that was a portrait, then it would make that 800 pixels, and that might actually even enlarge the image or only reduce it a small amount instead of the amount that we want to reduce it by. So just remember that as you're creating automations, they need to be things that are easily repeatable and that you're using the same type of file over and over and over again. The first step in the process that we're going to do to this image is we are going to resize it, but we're going to record the keystrokes through Photoshop's action panel. In other words, we're going to write an action that allows us to repeat that on images in the future. So in this case, what we're going to do is open our actions panel, which is always under this little play button here. If you don't see the play button, you can get to it by going to window and then to actions. Either one of them is going to pop this out. Now, actions are something that come built into Photoshop. So you're going to have some default ones that pop up right away. And you can experiment with these and see how they work. Just remember that if it's an action that works on text, you can't very well run it on an image. And that's a lot of times I think where people get flustered with this is they try to run a action on something that is not intended for that action. And just like I said a moment ago, you have to pick things that are like each other in order to be able to do repetitive steps in an automation, whether it's Photoshop, email marketing, anything that you're automating, it requires things that can be repeated by the computer. Computers are not smart enough to figure out how to deal with variables unless you tell them how. And if there are too many variables, then it gets confusing for them. Okay, so we're going to click the plus sign here to record our action, and we're going to give it a name. So we're going to say resize web size we'll just do web size. Landscape 800px. Okay, you can actually create sets of actions. You can buy actions. People write them and sell them all of the time. So you can create different sets. You can even assign a function key and colors to them. The function key means when you would tap the function key, then the action would take place. We're just going to click record, and trust me, this is a simple action. All we're going to do is come up here to image, go to image size, and we are going to resize this image to be 800 pixels on the long side and click OK. Now the next step that we're going to do is we are going to create a save as. So we're going to come here and do save as, and that is going to open up our save dialog box. Doesn't really matter where I save this. I'm just going to leave it on the desktop here, and I'm going to leave it as JPEG, and I'm going to click on save. Whoops, let's put it on the desktop so that it doesn't have to rewrite the original file. A 6, which is a medium, leaves us at about a 200 kilobyte file, which is fine for this purpose, and we're going to click OK. All right, so now our sacrificial image is taken care of, and we're going to click the stop button. All right, we're good to go there. So we're going to X out of that image. Now, if we wanted to pick up another one of these images, let me scroll down here a little further, and let's take this pretty image right here. We're going to open that up. It is that size, and if I want to do the same thing with it, I can select here, click on play, and it's going to do the same thing. And it's even going to save it up here to my desktop. So those are my 2 images saved to the desktop. That's part 1 of what I want to teach you with automations today. You can write actions for a multitude of different things that you do repetitively in Photoshop, and then every time you open a file, you can come to the actions block or create that function key and be able to run that action, so it saves you those keystrokes and those steps. The second part of what I want to teach you today has to do with creating something called a droplet, which is basically a little application that you can store on your hard drive that allows you to drag and drop images over the top of it. And when you do so, it'll run a specific action in your actions panel. So let's get started with that. So we're going to come over here to File, and we're going to choose Automate, and we're going to choose Create Droplet. That's going to bring us up with a Create Droplet dialog box. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to choose where we're going to save this droplet and give it a name. So we're going to save it here, and we're going to call it Resize Landscape Images to 800 pixels. Okay, I might even go landscape JPEGs just to remember that's what I'm doing. I'm going to click on save. All right, then here we're going to make sure our action right here is the action that we want to utilize. Then we're going to come over here, and I'm going to unclick this. Actually, yes, I am going to unclick that. Then I'm going to choose a folder in which to save these files. So there's not a folder here that I want to use. So I'm going to click on a new folder, and I'm going to call it Web Ready Images and click Create. And go ahead and click on choose. Now I have chosen a system for naming these images. So in this case, it's going to use the words web ready with an underscore and a document name and then an extension. When you first enter this, if you've never been here before, it's going to look like this. And this is not even going to be there. It's going to be document name and extension, which works just fine, unless you want to add a little thing ahead of it that says a web ready image. To do that, we're going to have to change this to none, type in web ready and an underscore because I want it separated. And then I don't want just the extension because that's not going to work. I'm going to pick document name and then extension. You can do other things, like instead of extension, you could add a date in there. And then add the extension. I mean, there's a variety of things you can do to make this look unique and to also be useful. If you want to add a underscore in between the my file and the date, between the file name and the date, then you would have to do none and an underscore and whoops, wrong place. It would have to go here. So it would be here none, then underscore, then date, and then extension. So that'd give you a date. All right, we'll leave that for now. We're going to click OK. So what happened when I did that is I now have a couple of things on my desktop. One, I have a web ready images folder, and I have this cute little application icon. So I'm going to push this over a little bit. I'm going to grab this icon out here, and I'm going to set the folder next to it. Now, these are the two images that happened in the action when I was teaching you guys the action. Now we're going to use the droplet. So I'm just going to grab any image in here. Let's take this one, drag it over, and what's going to happen is magically that's going to go through Photoshop, and then it's going to appear over here in our web ready images folder, because that's what happens. Isn't that cool? Is that not the most awesome thing ever? I love automations, and Photoshop automations really do feel like you have a magic wand. So if I want to come down here and I want to do these three images, I could select all three, drag them over here, and you'll notice that Photoshop flashes up kind of in the background there, but it takes care of all of it. And here are my images. Oh, I didn't hit that override. And so now they're coming up on my desktop too, because there were basically two save as commands. So I would want to go back and click that. I second guessed myself and I should have clicked the box, but you can learn from my mistake, right? It's nice to know that even the pros sometimes don't always get it right the first time around. Automations are things that are super handy for you. And if you mess it up once, you can always go back and fix it later. That's as simple as me going back and then just setting up another droplet. I'm tossing these in the trash, setting up another droplet and clicking that checkbox instead of unclicking it the way that I did. It is a little confusing, and it's probably a good thing that that happened so that you know if this happens to you, what exactly happened that was wrong. I hope that you will give a little bit of a try to some simple automations in Photoshop. And I hope this opens up a much bigger door for you in learning how to do automations in Photoshop and using actions. And that you'll get out there and experiment with this and maybe even go look around on the web for some actions that you can buy and use them so that you can get a little bit of an idea of how maybe you want to create your own. That's the beauty of Adobe Photoshop and Lightroom and all the other products, is that they give us the ability to customize these systems for us personally and how we work. Happy Photoshopping, and I'll see you in the next video.